Hello everybody, how's things? Merry Friday to you. Please do excuse my horrible unkemptness. It's been a very, very long week. And as such I need a beer, and I thought this week we'd kind of keep it a bit closer to home. This one comes from about as close to home as it's possible to get for me. The brewery is only 1.3 miles from where I'm sitting right now, just down on Meanwood Road. It's about half an hour's walk, about 4 or 5 minutes drive from here. The beer is Through the Looking Glass from Ridgeside Brewery. Apparently, according to them, the UK's first Brut IPA. What is a Brut IPA, I hear you ask? I don't hear you ask. I'm speaking to my camera phone. I can't hear you at all. But Brut IPA, according to Google, is an IPA designed to be incredibly dry, low bitterness, effervescent, kind of hoppy, quite aromatic. Apparently invented in San Francisco quite recently. A brewer had an idea of adding an amylase enzyme to the beer, which is something that's often used in stouts and porters to kind of lighten up the malt body without killing the alcohol. Normally, if you want to lighten up beer, you would do something to the malt bill, which would just have a consequent effect on the alcohol. Applying it to a lighter beer has the effect of lightening it up, and that combined with the lack of any residual sugar in it gives something very dry. I will admit I have had this beer before. I had it last night, but it came out, and it struck me as one I wanted to do a video on, because I think this could be a sign of things to come. It excites me, this beer, it really does. So without further ado, let's give it a crack and see what we get. It might be a bit effervescent because oh no, we're all right. I was worrying I'd shaken up a lot in the bag getting it home from work. But let's give it a pour. And already you can see it's very, very pale. Very pale. It's not a bright yellow thing. It looks actually a bit like a Gosa or a Berliner Weiss. It looks that kind of colourless. There we go. Head's not enormous on it. Good carbonation as well. Just nice. And already really, really aromatic. It's got kind of citrusy, gooseberry, quite a kind of, big gooseberry note. Quite juicy on the nose as well. Quite citric as well. There's kind of limes, lemon and lime in there. It is... How strong are you? 6.2%. So not over the top, not ridiculous. A good approachable sort of strength. So let's see what we get. It's amazing. When you swallow, absolutely, bang, it dries out completely. That makes it really, really refreshing. It's incredibly Moorish, in fact. That's mad. Brilliant and mad. And by mad I don't mean insane or crazy or silly. I mean the character is so other. It's so different to basically anything I've had before. There's something kind of vinous about it. It's almost winey. That kind of gooseberry note sort of evokes Sauvignon Blanc, but the limey note that's in there as well, it makes me think of almost kind of like a Riesling. There's almost something kind of petrol-y. There's that kind of ethereal note in there, that petrol-y ethereal note that does again remind me of like a more aged Riesling. But then there's hints of stone fruit in there. There's a wee bit of kind of tropical papaya, mango-y stuff as well. But it's not that big splooshy juice bomb. It dries out. But at the same time, it's not bitter. And that's the really impressive thing with this for me. The problem I often have with New England IPAs is, as lovely as they are, they're big and pillowy, splooshy, low bitterness juice bombs. But the problem I often have is that they don't have a grip, they don't have an edge to them. And that edge is something I look for in a beer. It's something I quite like. I like it to have a presence. besides just big, pillowy softness. And I was sceptical when I'd heard that Brut IPAs were low bitterness as well. I thought, maybe not my thing. But it's that dryness absolutely gives it that. And it makes it refreshing. It makes it quaffable and neckable and drinkable. I've already drunk a fair bit of that without even trying, which is dangerous. But also, it's an excellent attribute that I think's been sort of overlooked with the kind of proliferation of New England IPAs. It's impeccable, actually, that beer. I'm extremely impressed by it, and I think that we might be getting to kind of New England saturation point now, or at least kind of at some point in the future. And I think, as great as Ridgeside are, they are a tiny brewery. There's only 2.5 people that work there. If the big guys get hold of this, if you Northern Monks or Magic Rocks or Cloudwaters or Verdants in particular, if those guys start doing Brut IPA, we might well start to see a shift. And that's what really excites me. This is why I like beer. This is why I got into beer, is to have these kind of moments. This is pretty much the UK's first version. The only other brewery I know in the UK doing one at the moment is Odyssey. And they released a picture on Instagram today, the 16th of June. 15th of June. It's just ticked over midnight here. But they released a picture of theirs today. But Ridgeside have still beaten them to the punch on this one. And that's really cool. I think it feels like the start of something new. It feels like the start of a new movement, not movement, but a new direction in beer. It's certainly a new in vogue genre, I hope. New England IPAs are great. I love them. They're exactly what I want sometimes. But more often, I'm looking for something refreshing and neckable. And I find this sort of thing does it for me far, far better. Is this Genesis? Is this the start of something huge in the UK beer scene? And if it is, then that's fantastic. That's really, really cool, because it started 1.3 miles away from my house. That's really cool. That's what's so exciting about beer. And that's what's so exciting about especially Yorkshire beer and especially Leeds beer. Is that we've got people doing things like this, going out there and trying new things and nailing it to such a high quality. This is the best beer Ridgeside have ever made, I think. It's certainly the best thing they've ever small packaged in can or bottle. Which is saying something, because they've always set the bar quite high for themselves. I'm hugely impressed with this. And if Brut IPA does become a thing, shut up computer, if Brut IPA does become a thing and becomes the new fashion in beer, as I suspect it might, then I think it's really, really cool that it will have started in Leeds. It will have started on Meanwood Road. I think that's really cool. This might well be Genesis, and that excites me. So I'm going to sit back and enjoy this and listen to, it's Friday night, let's listen to some Genesis. Genesis Foxtrot by Genesis with Suppers Ready. Incidentally, Peter Gabriel Genesis is the only Genesis worth listening to. Phil Collins can get to and do one, as far as I'm concerned. Decent drummer, terrible singer, terrible songwriter, ruined one of the great prog rock bands of all time. Foxtrot by Genesis. With the wonderful Suppers Ready at the end. If you go down to Willow Farm, and so on. I'm rambling a bit, but this beer is excellent and I'm going to enjoy it. I will catch you next time through the looking glass. Ridgeside. Cheerio.